Hello, and welcome to a video as a part of our Detox series, all about twisting to cleanse and to create room. Today's flow is going to be a slow flow, all going to be on our mats. So I invite you to bring any pillows, blankets, blocks that you would want or desire to make this practice a little bit sweeter. We're going to make our way to crocodile pose to begin this practice. And so, crocodile pose takes place on your belly, bringing your hands to stack on top of one another. And then drawing your forehead to rest ever so sweetly on your hands. As you make your way to this crocodile pose, perhaps you grab a blanket for over your feet, perhaps over your whole body. And take a moment here to center on your breath. I'm going to sit for just a moment so you're able to hear me. But let this crocodile pose really help you embody a feeling of surrender, a feeling of release. I think the word detox can sometimes be charged with an idea of denying or depriving ourselves of our needs. And so I think it's important to define this word or to share the intention of this word detox as really an opportunity to pause and from our highest self, from our wisest self, acknowledge the toxins in our life. Those things that are not done intentionally, but habitually. The things that steal our time, our energy, or our joy, that are not helping or serving us in our pursuit of that true self. And while detox can sometimes certainly make me feel this is going to be a lot of work, I think in a lot of ways there's daily ways to release or to allow myself to be set up for success. And really all starting with our mind, with the release from thought patterns, beliefs that are not serving us, that are not helping us to feel in each moment capable, present, at peace. And this can be a very joyful journey. And so I'll offer as today's intention some words from Richard Rohr, who is a writer and the founder of this beautiful community focused on contemplation and action. There we go. And he shares in a passage about making room inside this idea or this difference between types of happiness. He shares the only difference between the two is that any happiness that is demanded from life never becomes happiness. Joy always comes as a gift to those who wait for it, expect it, make room for itself. The first is selfish assertion. The second is self-surrender. The first is taking, the second is receiving. Those are two entirely different human dynamics. And so as we think about detox, we can think about it as almost a really intentional way of denying what our culture often says is right, which is the pursuit of doing more, of being more, of having more, of working harder. And instead, we find that perhaps the hardest work and the most fruitful is releasing that desire to grasp constantly for what might make us happy, and instead be open to receiving. And so in this slow practice today, this shorter practice today, we'll be doing a lot of smiling, a lot of curling our lips. And if that doesn't resonate with you, that is absolutely okay as well. But seeing if this practice is not about setting ourselves up to receive joy in the future, but instead embodying and receiving joy right here and right now. Beginning to find some gentle movement. Perhaps just lifting ever so slightly to remove your hands from your forehead. Make your way to Sphinx pose. So this back bend, if it feels too intense, know that you can always go back to that crocodile pose. But we'll take a moment to bring our elbows right underneath your shoulders and feel this lift in your spine, this lift, this tucking of the chin to create length. And take one inhale and exhale here. And then bringing your right hand, almost threading it underneath your left. Swim your left arm over your back while bending into your left knee, coming into a twist. So we're opening from the Sphinx pose, rolling onto the back. And maybe you bring a block under your left knee, or maybe a blanket underneath your left shoulder to just really feel the release, this openness, this making room inside of ourself. And we'll stay here for a couple of breaths, inhaling and exhaling. On your next inhale, sweeping that left arm back to Sphinx, unbending your left knee. Ooh. And feeling maybe a little bit more open. We'll reset, inhaling, lifting and tucking the chin, and then drawing your left arm under your right. Swimming your right arm over to the back and finding a bend in your right knee. And again, taking some time to make this pose sweet. So maybe bringing that block or blanket underneath your knee if that's best for you, if that's available to you. And see if each exhale, you can just send your breath to any place that's begging for a little love, a little release. On your next inhale, bring your right arm back over the side of your body, straightening your right leg, and returning to Sphinx pose. Taking a short pause here for rebound. Then gently lifting through tabletop and finding your child's pose. So knees can be together or your big toes can touch, bringing your legs out wide. Feeling an openness in your chest, a release in your shoulders. Seeing if you can notice this opposing energy of your hip bones, of your tailbones, drawing down through the back body, while your front body lifts and lengthens through the crown of your head. On your next inhale, drawing up to tabletop pose and finding a sway in your hips. Move into some dynamic cat-cow child's pose. So starting by inhale, lifting your chin, dropping your belly. Finding this curve, this openness in your heart. And then exhale, doming through your shoulder blades, lifting your navel to meet the spine, tucking your chin. So this is our movement that we're going to be producing. Making your way back to neutral tabletop, bring your knees wide, big toes to touch, just as we did in our child's pose. And so now as we inhale into our cow, feeling that lift, exhale to move your right hip toward your right side, making almost a circular motion, finding just a moment to sit in child's pose, and then inhale to finish that rotation back through cow. And so we're focusing on creating that same cow-cat spine while just moving through this gentle rotation. So your inhales will still lift you, your exhales drop you down and back. You can pause at any moment. There's a spot that feels sticky, or if you want to rest in child's pose. But let's just play in this moment. So maybe this is where we introduce that soft smile, that lifting of the corners, feeling a little joy. And the next time you find your way to center, reverse the direction of this movement. Allowing even this movement, this beautiful lubrication of the joints to be its own type of cleansing, of embodying this feeling of being open to removing things from your life that aren't serving you. That is a gift that you can so freely give to yourself, so lovingly. On your next rotation, sitting back into your child's pose to recenter and to release. Inhale, lifting through tabletop, then making your way onto your back. We'll be moving through reclined pigeon. And so if there's a different hip opener that you would like to take here, you're more than welcome. I'll be cueing reclined pigeon. So to find your reclined pigeon, place your feet flat on the ground, knees up to the ceiling. Maybe tickle the back of your heels and lift your toes to feel really rooted in the ground. Lift your right foot and place your right ankle over your left knee, coming almost into a figure 4, flexing through both feet to help protect the knee joint. And maybe this opening is oh so sweet for you, and you want to stay here. Maybe you choose to wrap your hands behind your left thigh, lifting your left foot to a 90-degree angle, and then slowly drawing your left knee into your chest. Feeling an openness in that right hip. Releasing any tension that you can. Continuing to flex through your feet. And sending that exhale for a deeper release. Take 5 more breaths in this pose. Seeing if each breath can bring about greater sweetness. And when that is complete for you, and no need for you to rush, you'll lower your left foot and meet in this figure 4 pose. Coming into just a slight variation of a twist, bringing your arms out to a T. Inhale and exhale to gently draw your right foot to the mat. If you wish to deepen this pose, you can tuck your right foot under your left knee, drawing your left knee toward the mat. You can bring your gaze to your right hand if that feels right for you. And just let your breath help you to release a little bit more. And your next inhale, lifting that right knee if it was bent, and returning your legs to the midline. Untuck your right foot and find windshield wipers. So dropping your knees from one side to the other. Setting up for the other side. Again, maybe recentering your feet, feeling that rootedness. Inhale your left leg and place your left ankle on your right knee. Flexing in your left foot. And noticing if this side feels different, if maybe your body is saying, let's stay here. If your body is saying, take me somewhere else, you can inhale your right foot to 90 degrees, wrapping your hands around the back of your thighs. And gently create some movement for that right knee to draw closer to your torso. Again, flexing in your feet to protect your knee joint. feeling your joint, your hip joint, really helping to protect you. What a beautiful thing. And then just letting each inhale and exhale invite it to relax, to release, to know that it is safe. We'll take 5 more breaths in this reclined pigeon pose and meet in your figure 4 when that is complete. Once your right foot has found its way back to the mat, inhale, bringing your arms to a T, and exhale to drop your right or your left foot to the right side of your mat. This variation of a twist pose can be deepened by placing your left knee toward the ground, tucking your left foot under your right knee. Maybe drawing your right hand to that left knee, deepening the twist, and then bringing your gaze to the left. Your next inhale, making your way back to center. And again, finding windshield wipers. And as we prepare to take our final resting pose, our Shavasana, feeling just all the room that we made within ourselves, just even through some simple twists. Maybe curl the corners of your lips to a soft smile. And notice how that makes your heart feel. On an inhale, draw your knees to your chest, bowing your head up to meet your forehead, bowing to yourself. And exhale, opening up into resting pose. Legs are long. Maybe tuck your shoulders a little bit closer together. Taking any slight movements that you need to relax more completely. And let your palms be open to receiving the joy of this moment. As you lay here in this resting pose, you decide whether this feels complete or whether you wish to stay here until it does. I invite you to bring your hands to heart center in this laying down position, drawing your thumbs to your heart and lifting your thumbs to your third eye. And I invite you all to offer peace. Peace. Thank you for practicing. Feel free to stay in this resting position until you feel that your practice is over. Thank you for being here.